We're well into the build now with both front and rear assemblies really taking shape. We'll stick with the front assembly for our next kit bag though, starting with our steering and camber links and moving on to the camber plate and shock tower. Another bag that's again rather similar to the EB410.2 build, with plenty of higher quality pieces here, as well as a set of turnbuckles and rod ends, which need to be constructed. So with that said, we'll start with the links. As with the rear, we need to insert the turnbuckles into the rod ends, so we begin by applying a small amount of grease to the turnbuckle threads, then push it hard into the rod end. Again, I use the Tekno wheel wrench to hold in place as I twist the turnbuckle. As soon as you feel the turnbuckle bite, you can switch to using a wrench or a tool to grip the turnbuckle as you twist the two pieces into place, taking care not to twist the turnbuckle in too far. The opposite end of the turnbuckle is reverse threaded, so twist in the opposite direction using the same procedure. There are 4 links to create altogether. The front camber links must have a 32.25mm gap, with rod ends being at a 90-degree angle to each other, while the steering links on the other hand have a 34mm gap between rod ends, and again the ends are at 90-degree angles. Also note the use of angled rod ends on one side of each steering link. Anyways, time to get these in place, and we'll start with the steering links. Both ends simply push fit onto the ball studs we previously installed. Some needle nose pliers will help. Note that when pressing onto the ball stud, the small T logo should be facing upwards and visible. Also note that the notch on the turnbuckle should always face towards the left side of the vehicle. With that noted, we can pop both steering links into position and we finally have some steering. Check to ensure everything moves nice and freely. There should be absolutely no binding here whatsoever. With that done, we can move on to our camber links. So with camber plate in hand, proceed to insert an 8mm ball stud into the side of the camber plate, stock position being at the top, and secure into place with a flanged lock nut so it's seating nice and snug. Repeat on the opposite side. We can now pop on the camber links, making sure the notch on each turnbuckle is facing to the left of course, and remembering the T logo always faces upwards when popping into place, as well as the T logo on the opposite ends of each link facing upwards. Next, we can prepare the shock tower by inserting the shock standoffs, middle being stock, and secured into place with flanged lock nuts. We can see how the camber plate perfectly fits into the recess on the shock tower. Place into position on the front bulkhead, the same side as the sway bar mount, so opposite the steering assembly, and secure with 2 14mm button head screws in the top 2 holes, and 2 10mm button head screws through the bottom 2 holes. Finally, push the loose ends of each camber link into the vacant ball studs above each caster block. Notice how the T logo faces upwards. And that brings us to the end of our steering links, camber plate and shock tower installation. Bag I is now complete. Again, take some time to ensure everything is nice and free. There should be absolutely no binding here whatsoever. That also brings us to the end of our front and rear assembly. Both are complete and both have pieced together to perfection. No issues at all. Another flawless build from Tekno RC so far. In the next step, we'll begin securing these to the main vehicle chassis and the truck should really start taking shape. So join me in the next video with Bag J.